What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Educated Barfly. Today we are going to be making a cocktail called a Grapefruit Mule, which was created by bartender Aaron Polsky of Harvard & Stone. Harvard & Stone is a high-volume cocktail bar here in Los Angeles. It is always winning awards for being a high-volume cocktail bar in Los Angeles, and what's great about it is that it has an R&D bar in the back. So every Monday night, a different bartender, sometimes from around LA, sometimes an in-house bartender at Harvard & Stone, will do an R&D bar, which is a research and development bar, and they will put a bunch of cocktails on a menu and just be there for that one night. And I think that maybe I will be doing one soon. I am in talks to do one at the moment with the managers over there, but nothing has been set in stone. So, you get that? Harvard and Stone, nothing's been set in stone? I don't know. I guess that's not that funny. So when I get those plans, Marius just looked at me like, no, that was just very stupid. When I get those plans set up, if that comes to fruition, I will let you guys know if you want to stop by and have a bunch of, I don't know, R&D cocktails on a theme made by moi. Okay, so let's get through this cocktail a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about it. If you don't want to hear me talk about it, just click below. There is a timestamp link to skip it. But this cocktail to me seems a little bit more like a buck than a mule, even though it's called a Grapefruit Mule. I'm sure that Aaron Polsky was very intentional when he named this cocktail, and I trust him because he is a phenomenal bartender. But I will say that I wanted to address this because I think that some of you guys are going to be, wait a minute, based on those ingredients, it's more a buck than a mule. And bucks and mules are so close together, and their history is so muddled together that it's very hard to figure out. So to my understanding, bucks came around in the 1930s, and what they were fresh ginger, lime, 2 ounces of spirit, or 1.5 ounces of spirit, depending on how strong you want it, ice, and then soda water on top. And then a mule would be 3/4 ounce of lime juice, 2 ounces of whatever spirit you want. It's like a Moscow Mule would be vodka or whatever, and then ginger beer or ginger ale on top. That said, there are the people in two different camps. Some say that mules were created with lime juice and ginger syrup and soda. So their histories are a little bit muddled together. All right. You hear that? Lily's snoring. Okay, guys, if you hear a little droning in the background, that's because my dog Lily is on the couch behind the camera snoring right now. And it's just too cute, and I'm too nice of a guy to interrupt her. So if it irritates some of you guys, I'm really sorry, but she's a cute, wonderful animal. We love her very much. A few viewers really love her as well. We've featured her on this channel a little bit, and I'm not going to stop her from sleeping. Maybe after we shoot this cocktail, we'll wake her up and put her in another room. But for now, I just like hearing those cute little snores. All right, first thing we are going to do is just add 1 dropper of Bittermen's Grapefruit Bitters. And I know exactly what you guys are thinking. As soon as I picked up this bottle, you're like, what can I sub it out for? Bittermen's Grapefruit Bitters is hopped grapefruit bitters, and they are a very specific thing. So you need to use these bitters if you want to make this drink properly. That said, you can probably use other grapefruit bitters. It is going to change the flavor profile of the cocktail. A lot of people ask me about subbing on almost every video. And I like to say, like, if you sub this for this, you can do it, but it's just going to be a little bit different. That's not to say that it's not going to work. It's just going to be a little bit different. So just keep that in mind as you build your drink. So hopped grapefruit bitters, they're a little bit expensive. These are 4 ounces. They're about $25 to $30 retail. I know you guys are cringing at that. It's like basically a bottle of booze, but you only use this in drips and drabs mostly, and it will last you forever. So it is a very sound investment, and they are very good bitters. That's my spiel. If you guys, for those of you that are cost conscious or whatever, I get it. I understand it's an expensive habit. So if you guys need to figure something else out. I completely stand by you. And it doesn't mean that the cocktail's not going to work. I just want to reiterate that. The cocktail may work separately. It's just going to be a little bit different than what we're making here, which is fine. It's totally fine. All right, so what we're going to do, 3/4 ounce of lime. Then we're going to do 1/2 ounce of fresh ginger syrup. And 1/2 ounce of Pamplemousse Rose. I pronounced that because I looked up the pronunciation because I was calling it Pamplemousse before, which I guess is a Americanized version of pamplemousse, right? I don't know. It is pronounced pamplemousse. It is grapefruit liqueur. We're using the Combier one. Giffard makes a great one. I think actually this I actually subbed the Combier because I had it for, I actually subbed the Gaffard for Combier because I have Combier on hand, and I was like, why am I going to buy another bottle of Pamplemousse? And this works brilliantly, the cocktail, because I know, because I tested it. So we're doing ½ ounce of Pamplemousse grapefruit liqueur. And then we're going to do 3/8 of an ounce of Aperol, which is kind of nice because you just like, you got the bitters in there, the grapefruit bitters, right? So you're going to take down the sweetness of this because that's what you're doing with bitters. But then he's also adding a little bit more intense bitters with the Aperol, which is kind of a orangey bitter. Actually need a little bit more. So 3/8 of an ounce is the volume of this little stand. And I think that that is intentional. That said, if you pour it halfway up, you can get 1/4 of an ounce very accurately, but all the way to the top is 3/8 of an ounce. I poured it a bit short, so I wanted to kind of put a little extra in there. That's why I poured it twice. But if you use this type of jigger, then just know that all the way to the top is 3/8. And then we're going to do 1.5 ounces of Plymouth Gin. Again, you're gonna, if some of you guys, I mean, Plymouth Gin isn't that expensive, but if you guys want to sub it out, a London Dry is gonna go very well in this drink as well. It's a little bit different than the Plymouth, but it's still kind of in the same wheelhouse. All right, we'll add our ice to both our glass and our large tin. And give it a nice hard shake. All right. Then we're going to give it a little double strain. And we're going to finish it off with some soda. Now, the soda is a little bit less dense than the cocktail, so when you pour soda, even if you pour it over ice, it's definitely going to layer on top. If you pour it right into where the ice isn't, it'll mix a little bit more, but if you want to mix it, you can pour half the cocktail, pour a little bit of soda to get the effervescence in there, and then pour the rest of the cocktail if you would like. That is a good way to do it, to really mix that in there. I tend not to do that. Sometimes I forget, sometimes I don't. Either way is fine. This way you just might need a little bit of a mix, maybe. But maybe not. You know, I know I poured it off. I didn't pour it on the ice, so it is going to mix a little bit better than if I had poured it over ice, which then it would just kind of layer. And we're going to pull a nice long peel, which is like, basically, it's called like a horse's neck, this peel. It's actually nice. I was going to clean it up maybe a little. So you can clean up your peels with a peeler if you have a nice sharp one. There you go. That's nice and pretty. Just gonna give it a little spritz. And then we can just put that in the bottom of our drink like that. It'll stick out. Let's have a taste. You get that nice fresh grapefruit. It's nice to have a peel on top because you can, as you drink, you smell the grapefruit, which is gonna further inform the grapefruit flavors inside the cocktail. Ooh, and it mixed well. Oh, that's good. I mean, it has the feel of a buck, but with that nice bitterness. It's nice and pink and refreshing. When you see a pink cocktail, you're like, this has got to be a refreshing drink. And it really is a refreshing drink, but it's nice and bitter on the finish. So you have the tartness of the lime, and then you have the bitters, and then you have a little bit of that sweetness kind of supported by the botanicals in the gin. So it's dry. It's very dry in the finish, but also kind of sweet, but not too sweet, and very tart, which is nice. Which is basically how I prefer my cocktails. I don't like them to be overly sweet. I really want that citrus to be balanced out, which it is perfectly here. It's a nice summer weekend porch sipper, my friends. There you have it. Aaron Polsky's Grapefruit Mule. If you like our channel, please hit like and subscribe. And if you check us out on Patreon, go to patreon.com/educatedbarfly. We've got some exclusive stuff going on there. Marius gave me the thumbs up, which means that I hit all the points. It wasn't a weird video. I didn't mess anything up. I didn't stumble too much. There are so many things that Marius looks at while we shoot these to make sure that they are nice. And the reason why we do that is because we don't cut. We just do a straight up. If I mess up, if I do a whole cocktail completely perfectly, the whole spiel completely perfectly, and mess up at the end, we got to do it all over again because we do this all in one. We do several takes But the money one is one take all the way through. So let's all give ourselves, let's give Marius a little bit of a hand for all the hard work that he does. He really is the unsung hero of the Educated Barfly. And I'm so glad that you guys are noticing him because he deserves all the notice he gets. All right, I will see you guys next time.